What's going on, everybody? My name's Kevin, and I own a company called Cigar Prop, and I own a company called Irish Beard Balm. So that has no bearing on the video. I'm just a shameless self-promoter. So there's a big-ass crate right here. I am making the first video on YouTube. Blows my mind that there's not dozens of videos. There are dozens of videos on everything on YouTube. I needed a pneumatic punch or pneumatic press for a project for my company Cigar Prop. Saw that everybody online has these, and they're all called the same. Pneumatic machine, 110 volt pneumatic punch machine, 200 kilograms, 440 pounds with controller. So that's the machine right there. And you'll see a little bit more once I get it unboxed. You'll probably, if you're looking for reviews, you're going to be like, oh thank God, I finally found a video. So, not a single video online, so I'm going to do a video all the way from unboxing to showing the machine working. This may be over. I'm a little pressed for time, so we may not get it working. But I'll, and if you ever see any of my other videos, you know I know how to edit a video. So this isn't going to be a long, drawn-out video. Like, you're going to see me opening it, and then in post-production, I'm going to speed that shit up on the computer. So, I picked this one up on eBay because everybody on eBay has them. They're on Amazon also. But if you hunt and hunt and hunt on eBay, you will find them here in the U.S. Every place else, they ship from China. They take a couple of weeks to get in. There are two people that I saw that are shipping from like the Irvine, California, Rancho Cucamonga is what this one was. Cucamonga, that is a good word right there. And there was, I think, another one from Irvine, California. I really wanted to stick here in the U.S. In case I had a problem with it. If you're dealing overseas, you're screwed. So U.S., I paid with PayPal. So I think I'm pretty well protected. They did a hell of a job boxing this up. So we're going to start. I really don't know how to unbox it, but I do know that I want these brackets. So I am going to take all these off, and then I'm going to start talking so I can fast forward through the rest of this unboxing. Alright, so taking those brackets off did nothing. Well, you look at that. Well, you just look at that. I'll tell you, I bought a few Chinese-made pieces of equipment before. I've got a Micromark lathe over there that was really expensive, probably 4 times the cost of this. It wasn't packed as well as this. So I don't know if it's just this one seller that packs them like this. I'm assuming maybe they all, one person buys, this guy probably bought 10 from China, so maybe they all came like this. So, but that's kind of cool. Alright, kind of got the work area cleaned up here a little bit. So for those of you that have found this video because you knew exactly what you were looking for, What this is a, for those of you that don't know what it is, it's an air actuated punch. So you will plug air somewhere into here, and via two ways of working it, because it is 110 and air actuated. 110 for the control panel here, and then we got a couple ways to actuate the pneumatic cylinder. We have a foot pedal, and we have a double button for safety, so in case you put something in there and you have to hit two buttons for it to come down, your fingers are out of the way. Pretty sure I'm going to smash my fingers at least a couple times getting this thing dialed in, but I bought it because of the foot pedal. I need to be able to hold little parts in here, snap that foot pedal and come down. I opted, this one was $289 for about $50 less. You can get it without the control panel. I really need to be able to dial in how fast it comes down, the rebound, so I really wanted the control panel. Unfortunately, 100% Chinese. So I'm hoping that in these directions are English versions of this control panel. Good sign, English on the front. Working frequency 68 times in a minute. So layout, form vertical with compressed air, easy out, simple structure. No, pretty much everything that I had online is just recapping in this. Zero instructions on how this thing works. I'm not even, okay, so I do have there are a couple of screws here, because this is your pressure gauge, an oiler, and a dryer. And generally this is this is an oiler, so okay, I am a mechanic, so I do know a little about how these everything here works. I'm not sure on this one, because normally you have to feed the air in somehow, so there's just a line in, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to get air into this side, because all these fittings here are just press release fittings. So you press them, air hose the air line comes in, but that's the way it is on this side. It's just for an air line. I'm not sure why this moves back and forth, so I'm going to have to figure out how your typical airline, I don't have a fitting handy. Yeah, so I'm going to have to figure out how to plug an airline into this side to get it working. So that I'm going to have to try and figure out. So in the meantime, looks like they do give you a couple of Allen keys. That's what I need, more IKEA Allen keys to at least turn this around so see what I'm doing here. Plug that back in. So it's actually in, I mean, from what I can tell, really well built. The lines are good. Nothing's broken. Everything's well protected. I'm not 100% what this little wheel does. Like I said, there's no instructions, there's no videos, there's nothing on this, so I really don't know. It's got to do something. So I don't know. Let me go see if I can find an airline to get this hooked up. And we're back. So I found a quick fix. This little piece I noticed just unthreads. You just unthread it, and then you can actually just thread in a standard air chuck. So put some Teflon tape on it. Slide it in. And then we'll turn this around. Let me bring the cord. This cord is not long enough. So, alright. So your display comes on. Like I said, 100% Chinese. I don't know what it means. So the one thing I'm going to do, a friend of mine works over in Japan or China, goes over there a couple times a year anyways for his company. So I'm going to get with him and see if he can get this translated for me, and then I'll tell everybody what this does. And then this is definitely going to be, it's going to be a one video, but this is going to be start, stop, you know, my progression over maybe a few weeks of what I've done and what I'm doing with it. So as we can zoom in or see a little bit closer here, let me just adjust this. All right, so I've got my air hose here. Comes around, plugs in. Okay, so I don't. This little blue thing here that slides back and forth. I think that lets the air in. Let's just see what there's a gauge here, and it may appear, you know, you can tilt it down, you can see it up. So, okay, so that goes all the way down to 0, and that turns it up, and you can lift up here. So, I guess to adjust the air pressure, I got just one of the little pancake compressors here beside me, so there might not be a lot of air in it right now. So, okay, so that's the foot pedal. I'm assuming both triggers. Okay, so I'm probably going to get rid of the triggers. I don't know, because I really don't need them, and I definitely don't need two. So I definitely like that, and the reason I bought it was for the foot pedal. So, okay, so the foot pedal does not keep it down. Okay. So that kind of makes it nice. You could tap it. Okay, so kind of cool. So I know what this does is this controls, as you can see, it's already going up. So it goes 1 through 4. There's 1. Okay, so this is a timer. It's starting off at 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I'm going up, go to 4. Okay, I'm out of air. So that's what my problem is there. So I'm gonna have to play around with this one. I know what it does. It's able to go up and down a bunch of times per minute. So I guess that's what I'm going to be playing around with here. I'm assuming I can control my stroke. And then you've got your other Allen keys here. This is a hollow shaft up here. Very rough finish. They drilled and tapped them. I still got chips in here. So I'm definitely going to have to back these bolts off and run a file up in there just to clean off some of those chips. So I don't know how far. Alright, so that shaft is hollow to about there. So I can put a fixture in there. Like here is one. Alright, so that I designed to be used with my little arbor press. So I can actually, if it was actually this shaft was longer, I could actually put it in there and then tighten these down, which would lock that in there. So that's kind of cool. I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure out how this is attached. Let me just disconnect the air. I can disconnect the power. So you can see this is the back side of it. Here's your on-off switch, and it may just be glued or double-sided taped at the bottom on here. Notice I don't. Oh, okay, so that's what I was trying to figure out what this does, like a little screw wheel. But now I see what it does is you've got a set of screws here, and the case is split here. So what I can do is I can open this up, loosen these screws, which would open this up a little bit, and then I can adjust the whole body up on here depending on how much throw that I need. So all right, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, basically what I want to do, I really need this to be on its side. So I need to take this off because what I'm working with are a couple pieces. I don't know. You'll see eventually when I have this up and running. You'll see what I want to do, but I need it to be on its side so it actually comes out sideways. So I'll have to try and figure out how this comes off so I can just remount it, because these wires are all pretty flexible. A lot of wires there. I can remount it somewhere else or even off to the side. So, but I'll get this running. Looks like a pretty good base, pretty heavy, pretty sturdy. So it's gonna do what I want it to do. So now I just need to get it working. Get a picture of take a picture of this, send it to my buddy, see if he can decipher it for me, and then we'll come back here. And I mean, it doesn't really make a difference to you if it's a couple days or a week. We're going to be back to you instantly here in 1 second. What's going on, everybody? So, okay, I've been messing around with this thing for a few days. I did finally get a hold of a buddy of mine that has a colleague in China, and I was able to get I'm hoping you can read that. I'm just going to hold it here for, actually, let me get all of it in. If you need this as a PDF, just send me an email, kevin@cigarprop.com. Tell me you need the PDF of the Air Pneumatic controller, and I'll get one out to you in case you couldn't decipher that really well. So the main thing. Let's see, segment number. Doesn't really make a difference. This is just counting. Every time you press this down, I'm assuming it's an infinite count. It's up to 75 times now that I've pressed that up and down. This is just the time. I haven't figured out how yet to adjust the time to where you can figure out how fast this goes up and down. We've got half manual, half automatic, power indicator, adjust and test. This one with the red is the emergency on/off. Count 0, function select, edit. Even though I got the translation, I'm still not 100% what these do. One of the modifications that I already made is I cut off the two buttons for these. I just cut it, split the wires, taped them up, because I don't need that, because you can't press just one button. You gotta press them two, or both of them. So I don't need that at all. I like the foot pedal. The foot pedal cord's long enough to reach to the ground, and it also acts as a single press button if you want to. So I just cut it, put it in the back. I was able to get the tower adjusted. You can see here how I just cut it off, you've got two main screws here, and you've got a center one here. So what you do is you loosen these two, and then you tighten the center one. What tightening the center one does is splits this a little wider, so you can move this up and down. When you get it to the height you want, you just hold it there, you loosen this one back off, and then you tighten that one. So the one thing I'm going to probably do eventually is, since there's only two screws that holds this whole gauge thing on, I'm going to take this off and probably mount it to the wall back here. There's no reason this needs to be on here. The hose is here. It's just, it'd be easier if the hose came in along the wall and it didn't clutter this up. The only thing that you'll have to do when you do that is this single orange hose. You'll have to just press it down, disconnect it, and buy a longer one. This hose is available everywhere, so don't worry about if you wanted to move yours. I figured out like this little slide switch here that actually turns the air off to the unit and turns it back on. So one thing you can see is that I added a vise to mine. They make, if you can see in the bottom here, I don't know if you can see, this is, yeah, you can see a little bit. This is a T-channel, and they do make some T-channel or T-track tooling. I really didn't need anything. I bought this for one thing and one thing only, and I'm sure I'll find other uses for it. So I just mounted my drill press vise here. I made a fixture that goes inside here. Now the one thing I did have to do, let me take this out of here. These screws would not run in all the way. They were tapped poorly at the end. The tap didn't go all the way through and back out. So I had to take an 8x125 metric tap. I took these out, ran my tap in and out, cleaned out that hole, did it on both sides. Now nice and free. Technically, you could put a little bit of oil on this. If you had an Allen key on like a drill, you could run it in and bust it all the way through. You may damage the thread on the screw. You'll never damage it on here, but you know, you probably want it. I had a tap on hand, so I just tapped it out. I also have a mini lathe on hand, so I made the little attachment that I need to go in here. Just snug that down. So now I have a nice soft surface to press in what I'm doing, and I just press these little tiny tips into a handle, so I'm able to press it down, put my handle on top, and then utilize it. So we'll turn it on. Did I unplug it? Yep, I unplugged it. So, all right. So, basically, what we got the foot pedal, and now I'm only running probably about 12 pounds of air because I need this to be a light stroke. But I actually cranked the pressure up, and I was actually crushing some aluminum cans earlier, just messing around with it. Makes a hell of a can crusher. So I got the pressure turned down right where I need it to be, and you can see it just goes. So now what I have it on here, as you can see, out of the four, this last one here, which is adjust and test, what that will allow you to do is as you press the foot pedal down or your thumb switches, whenever you release it, it instantly goes back up. So wherever you want it. So if you were doing something and you just needed a very light kiss cut, and that's kind of what I need, I'm able to touch something and then back it straight off. So we're able to, let's see, edit. Let's see, oh, function select is this one. So, and then when you do that, It's just, there's nothing you can do. If you let off of it real fast, it's just going to continue a stroke. Which there are some times I'm sure I would need that. I just wouldn't want to throttle it. So we've got function select. So we got the number 2. And that pretty much does the same thing. I'm not 100%. So we'll go to the third one. The third one I believe is fully, yeah, it's fully automatic. All right, it's fully automatic. It'll just keep going. And I just hit the emergency stop to stop that, and then just go back to that cycle. So we've got the plus and minus, the up and down. Obviously, that's not in Chinese. I don't know yet. I've been fooling around with this, and I still don't know what that up and down does. It does adjust this counter up here. Right now, it's number 1. So if I go number 2, see, that's not. Let me just go back to the main screen, automatic. So we'll go number 3. See, I don't know yet what that does, because it does change it. Because it always goes back to 00.8. So if I go up number 2, now it goes to 00.3. So I don't know if that's timing it. I need to hit a stopwatch and see if that's timing it. I don't know, but it always goes back to number 1. So I don't know. You're going to have to play around with it a little bit to see what it goes on and see what you need. For me, I found that I'm going to need to be able to throttle this wherever I want, but it's got a ton of pressure, and like I said, I'm at 12, maybe 15, no, not quite 15, so I'm probably about 12, 13 psi here. I've also got my little pancake compressor regulated, so so far it's a pretty well built machine for the price. It's good. Like I said, I just happen to mount a vise in it. I need to get some different fixtures, that I can make, and then like I said, I just, at the bottom, it's just bolted in, so I got the bolts running all the way through, as you can see, and then I've got all 4 corners, and even just resting on those bolts, it's still real steady, so no issues. So I think that's pretty much it. So I'm hoping maybe this video helped you out. It'll help you determine whether this machine is good for you. If you have any questions, just feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll try and get back to you. If you're having an issue with yours and you can't figure something out, like I said, leave a comment or send me an email, kevin@cigarprop.com, CIGARPROP, and hell, I mean, I'll call you if you want. I mean, I don't care. Like I said, there are no other videos that I saw online, so we gotta figure this thing out together, me and you. So, all right, cats and kittens, I think that's all I got. Like I said, this was a pneumatic machine, 110 volt pneumatic punch machine that you get from eBay, Amazon. They're all the exact same. Looks like a lot of the parts are available online. Luckily, all the parts are all modeled, they're all numbered, everything. So I believe this whole pneumatic cylinder, if it goes bad, is only like $100. So everything's readily replaceable, thankfully. The only thing I didn't have hooked up yet, this is a dryer, this is an oiler, is I don't have the oil in it yet. If this is like most of them, this will just unscrew with the air pressure off, fill it with oil, and then screw it back on. And there's a little adjuster here on how much oil you want to add to the system. And it's always good to keep a oil in there. You can buy air compressor oil. You can buy not air compressor oil, air tool oil. Been a mechanic for 30 years. I fill it with transmission fluid. That's it. It's fine. So, all right. Hope this video's been helpful to everybody. Have a good one.